Did you know you once could spawn nether portals by pressing F4? Or that chickens once dropped diamonds? Here are 25 features that were removed from Minecraft. Up until snapshot 15W44A for 1.9, enchanted golden apples could be made with 8 gold blocks and an apple. Unused in the Java edition of Minecraft is crystallized honey. On August 22, 2019, it was accidentally added to snapshot 19W34A's files. However, it has since been removed. The red dragon was supposed to be included by Notch. However, this never happened, and it doesn't seem like there's any plans to do so in the future. Dirt slabs were added in survival test 0.26-04 in an attempt to make nicer hills, but they instead made hill generation have air gaps. Notch decided to remove them rather than attempt to fix the issues they caused. In Java Edition 1.2.1, 2 textures of sandstone were added into the terrain.png file. These textures were later replaced by cut sandstone and chiseled sandstone. In Beta 1.6, mods can be used to access a sky dimension. Notch mentioned plans to make it a dream world which the player could have a random chance of accessing by sleeping in-game. For a brief time in InDev, brick pyramids were large structures that generated far away from the spawn point. The pyramid's base was 64 by 64 blocks and was 64 blocks high. Before version 1.9, villages were generated with gravel roads instead of dirt paths. In Java Edition Alpha 1.2.2a, players could spawn nether portals by pressing F4. This was removed in Alpha 1.2.2b. Introduced as an April Fool's joke, the diamond chicken was a regular chicken with a blue texture. What made it truly special was its ability to produce diamonds instead of eggs. Horse saddles were an item added in snapshot 13W16A. They worked like regular saddles, but were used for horses instead of pigs. These were later removed from the game. From pre-classic to Alpha 1.0.9, the walking animation for the player was different. The player would swing their arms to their sides while walking. In snapshot 13W16A, the developers added crafting recipes for horse armor. Players would have been able to craft horse armor using 6 minerals and wool. In 2020 at the Minecraft Live event, bundles were announced for the game. They were initially a part of the Caves and Cliffs update, but were never released in either part of the update. It does not look like this feature will be released soon, and Mojang has not said very much about the feature except that bundles caused issues on touch devices such as iPads and iPhones. Fireflies were originally going to be eaten by frogs to produce frog lights. They would have glowed in the dark and been 2 pixels long, which would have made them the smallest mob in the game. The Ice Desert was a biome in Java Edition Beta 1.8 that was supposed to generate at maximum coldness and dryness, but did not actually generate due to bugs. Dinnerbone briefly thought about developing colored wood planks, releasing a test photo on his Twitter page. This, however, never got implemented and the idea was eventually replaced with colored terracotta. The copper horn was an item used to play sounds. In Beta 1.19.0.24, the copper horn has been removed and replaced by goat horns. In the beta stage of Minecraft's development, a message reading Minecraft beta unlicensed copy purchase at minecraft.net was shown. This message can only be seen in versions Beta 1.6, Test Build 3, and Beta 1.7.3. Achievements were available between Beta 1.5 and 1.12 and were replaced by advancements, though editions other than Java Edition still have achievements. The InDev house was a building which generated at the center of InDev maps. The player would spawn inside this house when the world was first generated. The InDev house was removed at the start of InfDev due to terrain generation being redone to make infinite worlds. Customized was a world type that gave control over settings that affected terrain generation, including ores, sea level, biomes, structures, and many other variables that changed the terrain generation. It was added in 1.8 and removed in 1.13. In the first version of InDev, there were 2 obsidian walls that generated infinitely on each axis, with the intersection marking the center of the world. It was removed when coordinates were added. Since survival test up until beta 1.7, you could only shear a sheep by punching it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned something, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and it helps me a lot. Also, I want to say thank you for the support on the content. We're almost at 100 subscribers, which is pretty cool. Anyways, see you next time.